Baby, don't none of that make sense. Shut up. We should lock her up till she got a solid explanation. Hey, welcome back to my channel. We're just gonna get all the little housekeeping details out of the way early. This is not like a full deep dive review of the Netflix documentary. This is not, a professional opinion or any of that type of stuff. This is just me, a lady on the internet that watched it, and now I have thoughts and I have opinions, and I'm gonna share it with y'all. Also, I don't know any of these people. Disclaimer, these are just my opinions. This is just for entertainment purposes only. Don't be trying to sue your girl for my opinion. I'm just telling you what I thought after watching. Also, obviously, if you have not watched the documentary, I would advise you to not watch this video because I'm not going into all the background and all of that. I'm going to be talking about just the nonsense that took place and all of the shadiness around everything that happened and the stuff that I feel people aren't talking enough about. So, yeah, that's what we're doing here today. If you're with that, stick around. If you're not, see you later. And we're going to get right into it. So, starting straight from the very beginning, the whole Lauren and Owen relationship was very odd to me in the first place. Maybe this is being a black woman, or maybe this is being a Southern black woman, but my parents and the parents that I know were not entertaining, like, oh, you're in middle school, you're 12 years old, talking about you got a boyfriend. And now we're all linking up for these family events and you're spending the night for Christmas and all this. We weren't doing like, oh, that's your little friend. Cool, keep it cute. Like, and even then, my parents wasn't even playing that. So I just have a hard time digesting, like, there are parents in this world that entertain like 12-year-old relationships. But that's neither here nor there. Honestly, in the grand scheme of things, that's nothing. So I want to start by saying that a lot of the people involved in the story and in the town did not see Lauren as a real victim. Like, from the very beginning, Owen's friends, we're going to be very specific when I say Owen's friends. The show, and when I looked on IMDb trying to make sure I had the names right, they categorized some of these people as Lauren and Owen's friends. But some of these girls were not friends with her. Even if they're saying they were not friends with her. And I'm going to tell you why. So, the girl Sophie, and I think there was another girl named Macy. She wasn't really like a big part of it. You didn't really see her too many times. But I'm going to say Sophie, she seems like she did not like Lauren at all. Because as soon as stuff starts popping off and they're like, oh, we're trying to get to the bottom of it and see who this possibly could be. And we're like saying stuff loud to make sure that other people can hear what's happening and trying to see who's around whenever these things are going down and stuff like that. So we could try to like narrow it down. We're thinking maybe Lauren is making it up because, she's trying to get attention, or she's trying to get closer to Owen, like that's Sophie saying that. But this is supposed to be Lauren's girl too. They're supposed to be friends, mutual friends, with Owen. And she's just like, yeah, so I'm thinking maybe she would be doing it for attention. And then the other girl, Macy, they both were saying things like, oh yeah, Lauren, she was like kind of the type to stay to herself. She didn't really like open up or talk that much to people. If she was talking about something, it was probably sports or something that she didn't really care about. But even the clip that they're showing for that is Lauren making TikToks and stuff about like winning different tournaments, using like TikTok sounds and talking about like, oh, I guess we'll never know. And she's got trophies on her arms, all around her neck and stuff. And it's like, what do you mean something she didn't care about? That seems like that is what she cared about. You didn't care about it. So you felt like, oh, this girl isn't worth talking to. But y'all are supposed to be friends. You're friends with her boyfriend, and this is your friend, is what everybody is saying. So how are you considering her a friend, but you're saying y'all didn't have nothing to talk about because all she talked about was sports? Noted. So to me, Sophie and Lauren, I would not say they were friends. The Macy girl, like I said, she's barely in it. She seemed like she was more friends with Sophie and Owen and stuff. And then Lauren was just the girlfriend. And then the other girl, Chloe. Again, I'm also gonna say these are children, so we're not gonna do too much on the children. But Chloe, I feel like even her friends, like Owen, I think Sophie even said something too, and Lauren definitely said like Chloe was known for not being nice. Like, Owen is supposed to be her homeboy. They like this, okay? But Owen is saying, yeah, she's kind of known for not being a very nice girl. Why are you hanging out with her then? I get it. They're like from a small town. So it's just like, oh, we all went to pre-K together and we're still in high school together. Like, I get it, I guess. But me personally, it's nothing to cut somebody off. Like, if you are moving funny, we don't have to be friends, no matter how long I've known you. It's not beef. I just don't need to deal with you because you're being weird. And it sounded like she was always being weird. Like, and for her to try to paint it as like, oh yeah, I was never like a bully to anybody or anything. I was just really competitive in sports. So I think maybe that's why people would say that I might be somebody to do this. Meanwhile, his own cousin, Owen's own cousin, has been bullied by this girl. And it sounds like Sophie was a part of that bullying as well, of the cousin Adriana. So Owen's cousin Adriana has claimed in the past, before any of this stuff even happened, she had made claims that Sophie and Chloe's friend group had bullied her and like thrown things at her and stuff like that. And I felt so bad. As soon as I saw this girl, before they even get into the background and everything, as soon as I saw her and people are like trying to point the finger at her, I'm just like, this girl seems so like fragile, kind of broken. Like, you know, you can look at people and just see the sadness. Like, she had that vibe. So when they're trying to say like, oh, she would do this because, you know, she's in a friend group where, you know, they're kind of different and they don't really say much. She's kind of on the quieter side. They don't really mix and mingle with people. Yeah, because y'all out here bullying the kids. Like, what do you mean? Of course she doesn't hang out with you. You're mean to her. And for him to be her cousin and you hanging with the girls that's terrorizing her, that's weird. That's really weird to me. So I didn't like that. I felt bad for Adriana. And also, something I saw on Reddit was that they were saying Chloe's parents, her dad is a cop, by the way. Need I say more? Need I say more? I don't need to say a thing. Okay, her dad was a cop. And I saw on Reddit that around like the Halloween time or whatever, that family had put up a scarecrow in their yard or something like that and had Adriana's face printed on the thing. And people were like vandalizing it, thinking that she's the one bullying these kids and terrorizing them, cyberbullying and all of that crazy nonsense. And they had no proof. They had nothing to go off. Just, oh, I know that she has claimed my daughter bullied her in the past. So it might be her. She might hate her enough to try to pin this on her. What? That's crazy to me. And then, like, with you being a cop, how are you going to go around just aimlessly accusing people? And he accused a few people. He was trying to say from the beginning they were thinking it was Adriana, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, Lauren might be doing this trying to get attention. Oh, I knew from the beginning it was her mother. He was accusing everybody just so that the heat wasn't on his daughter, which the heat should have been on her for very different reasons outside of this whole cyberbullying thing. Okay, she seems like a piece of work. Okay, maybe she's gonna be nicer now that all this has come to light, and she's like, oh, I didn't know everybody thought I was so mean, because she saw the documentary by now, I'm sure, and I'm sure she's seeing her own friends are saying like, yeah, she's mean. So maybe she's gonna be a little bit nicer. We're gonna give her some grace. They're very young teenagers. Okay, we're not gonna do too much. But I just thought all of that was really odd. Then as they're finding out, like, oh, it's not Chloe, oh, it's not Adriana, oh, they checked Lauren's phone, it's not her. I felt like it was odd for the parents to be so determined to go to the school over and over and over again for like almost 2 years, talking about like, oh, we need to get to the bottom of this because, you know, this is something, this has to be somebody they're going to school with, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Okay, I get that. But outside of that, what did y'all do to stop this? You did not like change their phone numbers. I don't think they blocked the numbers, which blocking the numbers wouldn't have done anything because the person was using software to where they were just generating like one of those little apps that make fake phone numbers or whatever. So even if they blocked it, the person would probably just get another number and then do it again. But it's like you could have changed their number and only told very specific people about the new number. That way, if somebody was able to still get in contact with these children, then that means you would know it's somebody that's close to you. Like, I just don't know why they were so against. Like, I think Owen's mom might have took his phone for a while, but other than that, they didn't really do anything to like stop it. Um so I thought that was weird. I definitely thought that was odd. I'm like, that would probably helped a lot to just change their phone numbers. But they didn't do that. So we're not gonna judge too harshly. We're not in their situation. We don't know what we would do, but they didn't do that. Outside of that, I know Lauren's parents said that they were like moving around a lot. They kept moving. I think they moved like 3, 4 times or something like that, it said. And to me, that also was odd because it's like you're moving from house to house. You're staying in the same town though. So she's still going to the same school. She's still interacting with all these same people. And her and Owen ended up breaking up and everything like that. So it was like already she was going through a lot. I'm sure that was a lot. She's thinking like, oh, this person is saying you're cheating on me and that you're not really attracted to me. And the stuff that was being said in the text messages, I'm kind of saving that till we get to who the culprit is. But there was a lot of stuff that could have been like really damaging for this little girl. And I feel like she definitely, if she is not, she should be in like therapy talking to somebody. I feel like they said she's in therapy or something. Because those are like those really sensitive years where you're already like changing and growing and there's a lot of stuff happening. But to like already be in a committed relationship at that age, and then for it to be turning out as horribly as it is, you break up with the person thinking like, oh, this is what the person wants. They just want to break us up, so maybe if we do that, then it'll stop. They broke up and it seems like it got worse. They didn't end up getting back together though. It's like they just went their separate ways. So all these girls that were supposed to be friends with Lauren, they're no longer friends with her. Because like I said, they weren't friends with her in the first place. They were Owen's friends. So when they break up, naturally, she's more isolated than she was before because she only had friends really because she was dating him, which points to another contradiction. They paint the narrative that Owen and Lauren were like the it couple, like they were the couple around the school and everything like that, and super popular, and everybody was like looking up to them as like couple goals or whatever. But oddly enough, it don't seem like anybody was friends with Lauren outside of her relationship with Owen. How popular could they be? And they were freshmen. I don't know about y'all, but I've been to high school and I can pretty much tell you the freshmen are not setting the tone. Okay. Like there's a couple that's already 4 years in for sure in that school that are probably seniors and have no idea who y'all are. Y'all were not setting the tone. I thought that was a weird narrative for Netflix to even spin and for the people in the documentary to try to spin like, oh, they were everybody's couple goals. It's just like, probably not. And then how does it go from like, oh, they're super popular, they're the it couple, to people describing Lauren and saying, oh, she really kind of kept to herself. She didn't really talk about anything deep or anything personal. She wasn't super close with anybody. But she's the most popular girl in school. They're the most popular couple. Make it make sense. Like I said, just contradictory stuff going on. Other than that, I feel like as far as the kids go, like they were just kids. They did what they had to do to try to get through it. I feel like there was a picture of Chloe and Owen, like they ended up going to a dance together or something. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and say that my predictions were correct. And Lauren, I think she said something about Chloe and Sophie like always liking Owen or whatever. And I feel like that is definitely the case. I feel like Sophie is that lifelong friend. Like her and Owen were friends since diapers, and like she likes him, but he doesn't see her that way. So like nothing ever happened. But I feel like she probably just was staying close to him, hoping that like her time would come, and Chloe's time came before hers. So sucks for her, but sucks worse for Lauren. So yeah, that just is what it is. Then we're gonna talk about the plot twist. So I am somebody who consumes a lot of true crime. I always have been since I was like really young. But I don't know if I'm just kind of jaded by certain things. I find this with a lot of media, like whether that be shows, movies, documentaries, whatever. I'm not often as impressed as other people are with certain stuff, like watching certain movies and things, or like when Sinners came out. Like Sinners was a decent enough movie, but I wasn't like mind blown. It wasn't like, oh, this otherworldly thing. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. Like it wasn't. I didn't have that type of reaction to it, but it was even more jarring for this because everybody's like, oh, the plot twist, I didn't see it coming. And I'm just like, I pretty much called it was the mom from the beginning. I don't know if it was the way her scenes were like staged differently than other people's, or honestly, I know what it was. The thing that it was for me that singled out Lauren's mom was the fact that a lot of the parents, you would see them talking about the things that are happening, and you could see like the emotion and the feeling behind it, and like how disturbed they were by the things they were reading and seeing that these children were being terrorized and harassed. um her mom always had like this weird smirk on her face when she's talking about it. And also, there was a scene where Lauren and her dad are like outside fishing and all this extra stuff. But I'm just like, why wouldn't the mom be in that scene? So I already knew. I'm like, I knew before that moment, but especially when I saw that, I'm like, oh yeah, the mom did it. The mom is actually the culprit, because why would they be showing a scene of her and her dad hanging out and stuff and her mama ain't nowhere to be found? Why is there no scene with the mama being there? And then also, in the scenes where they were using like Owen's mom, I believe it was, they have like the little actor portrayal or whatever. I feel like Owen's mom was actually in some of those moments, but they never showed the person who was supposed to be Lauren's mom. Like they would just show her head from the back or whatever. And I was just like, they must not be cool anymore, because why would they not be doing this scene together if both of their children are the victims? See, y'all got to be paying attention. Context clues. Pay attention to the context, everybody. Because maybe I ruined it for myself by being too observant, because I just was not shocked when they like revealed that it was her. But with that being said, I do feel like the way that they shot and filmed this was very odd. It made it seem so like unserious, kind of like you're watching Pretty Little Liars or something, and it's just like, oh, that's A, like that type thing. I'm just like, nah, I don't like that. It just seemed really corny and really weird. And like, this is a documentary about something that really traumatized a lot of children involved. You were pointing the finger at children. You were telling your daughter to off herself. Talking about her body. You probably caused body image issues. Not even caused them, because when the mother starts speaking about the things that she was saying in these text messages to her own daughter, talking about, oh, your boyfriend, he doesn't really like you, he wants BJs, and oh, we be doing this and all types of extra stuff I'm not really going to get into. Just a lot of like inappropriate things to be saying to a child that age. And then you not knowing what that would cause her to do. Like, you're claiming that this boy doesn't like her because she's not doing XYZ. How do you know she wasn't gonna hop on that and start doing those things? I shouldn't have said hop on that. That was bad. I don't mean hop on that. I meant like take those remarks in the text messages seriously and then start to do those things before she was ready, because you're claiming that's what she needs to do to keep this boy. So good on Lauren for like sticking to her guns and not allowing that to like make her do things that she was not ready to do and they really should not have been doing. They were 14. But I do think that was really crazy for the mom to try to like frame that in a way like, oh, well, originally the texts that were being sent to them with, the person was trying to break them up and stuff like that, that wasn't me. But when those text messages stopped after a while, then it was me. What? And her, like, honestly, listening to her reasoning behind everything gave me a headache. Like, I laid down and just, my brain was tired the day that I watched this, because I'm just like, what you're saying makes zero sense. Like, no sense at all. You're talking about, oh, the bullying stopped. Somebody was harassing my daughter, but it stopped. So when it stopped, I picked it back up so that maybe I could get to the bottom of who it was. Maybe they were going to be like, oh, who is this? Trying to get something, trying to get some response from them. So they could be like, oh, is this so and so? Baby, that's a question. That's not solving the riddle. Like, it's up to you to say who's on the other end. Were you going to reveal yourself and say, oh, it's me, it's mom? Huh? Look, I wanted to choke slam that lady through the TV. She was getting on my doggone nerves, trying to act like the victim and be crying about like, oh, all these horrible things that were being said to my daughter. And oh, baby, you said it. You the one who said it. What are you crying for? Then something that I've been seeing a lot online and also was mentioned in the documentary is that certain people like Chloe and Chloe's parents, they think that Lauren knew about this, and they think that her father knew about this, what the mom was up to and everything. They're like, oh, I said from the beginning it was her, and how could he not know? How could Lauren not know? Lauren's a child. Why would she ever think her mama was the one ruining her life, breaking up her relationship, isolating her, ruining her friendships, even though the friendships were shaky at best? Why would she think that was her mama? And why would y'all think she's doing it in such an obvious way to where the husband would know and her daughter would know? Plus, the husband's away working a lot of the times because apparently they were having like some financial struggles, right? Come to find out, Lauren's mama had been fired from her job almost 2 years ago and hasn't had a job since then. So she must have been pretending to get up, get ready for work, and be leaving the house every single day while he's gone and she's at school so that she can be acting like she's at work. Yeah, she was that committed. Like, she was doing so much stuff for no reason. And it doesn't get explained why she was pretending to have a job without actually having one. She was able to like hide what she was doing for so long because she had an IT background. So you could get a good job with that. Why Miss Mamas didn't have a job? I don't know what that was about. But the husband is blindsided because he wasn't thinking that this was going to be his wife. He had to leave work early so that he could be with his daughter when he found out, when the police called him telling him like what had happened or whatever. Lauren seemed like she was in shock. Like when they said, "Oh yeah, it's your mom," like she didn't even react. Like she wasn't moving or anything. Her mom's all on her, like trying to hold her hand and rubbing her hair and all this extra. What are you crying for? You did it. Why are you acting like this is something that happened to you? You did it. So annoying. So annoying. She's trying to explain, like, oh, I was trying to get to the bottom of who the original texter was. It wasn't me at the beginning. Lies. We're not going to sit here and pretend like that wasn't you. The type of stuff you were saying, degrading your daughter, trying to like make her even more insecure because like I said, this is a sensitive age bracket to be in. And for the mom to sit there in the interview and be like, she is very petite, she is very skinny, she's, you know, she's very small, so I knew I could say that and talk about her butt being flat and her not having any breast and, you know, her being too skinny and all of that stuff like that, you know, to try to get a reaction so maybe I could get to the bottom of who was doing this. Right. And then she's trying to be like, oh well, because you know those are things I could say, those were insecurities that I knew she had, and I knew I could say those things, but also maybe in a way I was directing that at myself because I too was very underweight. What they got to do with Lauren and her boyfriend? And I'm gonna tell you what it got to do with it. That lady is, okay, we're just gonna call it what it is. The way she was describing doing all of these intimate things with a young boy who is her daughter's boyfriend, the way she was like trying to taunt her daughter with all of these supposed encounters that were happening between this anonymous girl and Owen. They, after they reveal that, you know, Lauren's mom is behind the whole thing, then there's like Owen talking about, yeah, she used to give me extra attention. Like, you know, she would, if I'm eating dinner with them and stuff at their house, she would like cut my steak. It's just like, you're a kid, so I'm not blaming you. But you, that's not something you would have mentioned to your mama. Be like, yeah, I was over there by Lauren's house and her mama was rubbing on my hair. She was cutting my steak, you know, sitting a little too close, making me feel uncomfortable. That's what he describes. Like she was making him uncomfortable in certain situations. But also, it's just like, I have to assume her husband wasn't around for these encounters because they make it like he was out of town working a lot. Like, I would have to imagine he wasn't there for that when she's like being all up close and personal with this boy. But Lauren being around her mom, I also feel like she wouldn't have thought anything of it because, like, even if it's like, oh my gosh, mom, you're so embarrassing, you wouldn't be like, yeah, my mom was pushing up on my boyfriend. She was a little girl. Like she would not have thought of that. I don't think anybody's first mind would be that. If you've never known your mother to be that person, you would never expect that. So her mind wouldn't have gone there. So I don't appreciate people blaming Lauren, who also was a child in the situation, for the things that her mother did. That's not on her. Then for Owen's own mother to be like, yeah, I feel like, you know, looking back at it, she did give him a lot of extra attention. Like even after him and Lauren broke up, she was still coming to all of his games. And you did what about it? Like, that's a whole conversation that would have had to take place. If that's my son, him and your daughter have broken up and aren't even on speaking terms. Like, it's not like, oh, we broke up because we thought it would stop the, you know, the harassment, but we're still cool. Like, they completely stopped speaking to each other. So what are you doing here? If nothing else, out of loyalty to your own daughter, why would you be at his games? And where is your daughter when you're going to his games? Yeah, no, no. And I feel like with that type of stuff being the case, it should have clicked sooner for the adults around that like something's up with her. Now, of course, in hindsight, everybody is, trying to claim after the fact, oh, I knew from the beginning. I had a feeling. No, you didn't, because you would have said that. And the person who was saying it, they were blaming everybody. Chloe's parents, they was blaming everybody. So they don't even count. They just wanted to be able to say, we were right, we called it. So they're blaming everybody in town. Yeah, we're not even gonna talk no more about her parents because they irked my nerves so bad. They irked my nerves. I couldn't stand them people. But with all of that being said, the lady got like essentially a slap on the wrist. I feel like what she was doing was more than stalking and harassing. I feel like that's child endangerment. I feel like that was, some type of psychological abuse. I also feel like there is like I said, a pedophilic type aspect to that where it should be some type of sex crime. Like you're weird. You're being weird. And I feel like you should still be locked up and barred from being around children forever. With that being said, she was able to like be in contact with her daughter while she was in jail. But now that she's out of jail, she's not allowed to see her daughter. And I feel like that's for the best. I feel like Lauren and her dad, it seems like they're in a very good place where she feels comfortable talking to her dad. They spend a lot of time together. Seems like they're still in the same town. So she probably doesn't have a whole lot of friends, which sucks for her if that's something she cares about. But she seems to be doing a whole lot better. But I do feel like she should be in some type of therapy or something if she is not, just to help, really break everything down. Because even when she was talking about it, she seemed still like genuinely confused about a lot of the things that happened. And you can't ever truly get into the mind of a crazy person. So she'll never truly understand why her mother did what she did, especially with the explanation she was given. Like, baby, don't none of that make sense. Shut up. We should lock her up till she got a solid explanation. Like, that makes no sense. You were never trying to get to the bottom of it. You were trying to destroy your daughter. Like, get out of here with that. Something that was odd to me though is that when they asked Owen about Lauren, like in present day, how he was feeling. Well, not present day, but like in the follow up for the documentary, they're asking him before it closes out, like his relationship with Lauren and what it's like and stuff. He's like, yeah, we haven't spoken since we broke up, and I probably won't ever talk to her again. No. His attitude about it, again, he's not a kid. He's a kid, so like I'm not gonna do too much. But I'm just confused. I wish they would have asked him why he was angry with her, because it didn't seem like, oh, we just grew apart and we don't talk. He seems like he genuinely has an issue with her, but like she didn't do anything. So I don't know. That was just really odd to me. If anybody could like explain that to me, why he would be mad at her when she herself was like the ultimate victim of the situation, please explain, because I'm confused. I don't get what he's mad at her for. But now that her mom is out of jail, now that Lauren's mom is out of jail, they're not allowed to be in contact with each other. Or they're not allowed to physically see each other, so maybe they can still like text or whatever. I feel like they wouldn't be allowed to do any of that, but who knows. And she actually said that she would like to maybe one day like rekindle the relationship with her mom and heal everything and work on everything and work through stuff, but she doesn't feel like she's at a spot right now where she would feel comfortable trusting her mother. So I feel like that is very wise of her, even at this young age, for her to be like, yeah, it's probably for the best that I don't get wrapped up in my mom right now, but that is my mom and I do love her, I care about her, and I want our relationship to be mended one day. I, as somebody with like a very interesting relationship with my mother, I wouldn't advise that. That's something that happens a lot where kids, it's a natural thing for you to want to be like, yeah, that's my mom, I love her, we don't always see eye to eye, or maybe something happened that altered the relationship, but that's my mom at the end of the day, and maybe one day it'll work out. When that's the mindset of the child in the situation, they oftentimes end up like carrying the brunt of the responsibility in the mending of the relationship. And with her mother being as manipulative as she has proven to be, and as mentally disturbed as she has proven to be, I feel like if Lauren is in therapy, that would end up undoing a lot of the work that she is going to do over the years before, I guess once she's 18 she can do what she wants and she'll be able to like talk to her mom and stuff if she chooses to. But hopefully, um you know, even if they regain some type of relationship, she'll just be aware, like, you know, you don't have to cut your mom off. That's your mom. And who am I? I'm just a lady on the internet. But you have to learn how to deal with people. And hopefully she would learn, like, yeah, this is my mom, but she has issues. And we're going to just keep the relationship at a certain level. We're not going to dig too deep. If I feel myself getting sucked in, I got to take a step back because she's proven to be untrustworthy with my entire being, you know, like that's what I really can't get past. That lady was saying some horrible stuff. Like, you told your child to off herself. Yeah, there's nothing else to talk about after that. I feel like there should be nothing else to discuss. And the lady really tried to say, like, oh, well, I know her so well that I knew what would get under her skin, but I also knew, you know, how she would react and what she would do. And I knew she wouldn't, you know, hurt herself. How do you know that? You don't know that. That's crazy. I could really go on and on and on about this, but this lady really irked my nerves so bad. She irked my nerves so bad. I felt bad for Lauren's father as well, um, because he seemed to genuinely care about his wife and he thought his life was, you know, normal. Like, yeah, we got money issues or whatever, but you know, we all right. We gonna figure it out. She had them getting evicted. She had them losing all their stuff in storage. She's not making payments. She's pretending to have a job. Like, that poor man. I feel so bad for him and his daughter. And I hope for his sake that Lauren and the mom just never get close again, because that lady is dangerous and she should be locked up. Like, she should still be locked up. That's my thoughts on that whole situation. If you saw this documentary, go ahead and leave your thoughts and opinions. Let me know if I'm tripping down in the comments. Give me a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see y'all in the next one.